Good morning,
Good afternoon.
good evening, wherever you are. I'm Ariel.
I'm Shya.
Welcome to being here.
Yes, and today we're going to talk about include versus ignore.
Have you ever noticed like you're ignoring somebody or ignoring a sound, that you're actually adding energy to it?
You're complaining in your thoughts about it.
Please.
Will they please stop playing that music already?
Yes. So let's play around with that today because I have a feeling there are days when you can just include just about anything, and other days when just about everything gets on your nerves.
I like that.
Yeah, it's all about listening.
That's right.
Oh, no, not
let's
that
talk about
again.
listening.
Okay.
Yeah, I like listening. Listening is hearing what another person has to say from their point of view, not whether you like what they're saying or dislike what they're saying. Just allow them to say what they say and you get it without interfering and complaining, saying they should think differently than they do. That's listening.
You may actually learn new things too. I learned a new word today.
Work vacation.
Workation. Half work, half vacation, where you go someplace that's vacation-ish and you work
there
while you're there. Also a workation. It's a whole new word.
It is.
It's one of our guests brought it up for us. I was listening. When you're listening, life becomes easy when it's like, okay, will you please stop talking? We have to get on with the show. Then you're irritated, they're irritated. Life becomes
a chore.
A chore. A big fat chore.
Chore.
I'm doing my chores. Leave me alone.
A Brooklyn chore.
A Brooklyn chore. Let's take our first guest, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Anina, welcome to being here. Tell people where you're zooming in from.
Hello. I'm Anina, and I'm zooming in from Thun, Switzerland.
Thun, you zoom from Thun.
Zooming in from Thun. Okay.
Zooming in from Thun. And in the description, you talk about the intrusions or what happens during the day or the sounds that come up during the day. So I live very near the train station here in Thun, and all the tracks and sometimes the electricity on top, they have to be maintained regularly. And as there is so much train traffic coming through Thun, they have to do lots of it at night. And then sometimes it's really, really loud. And I have found with having spent a lot of time with you and exploring listening, I found that my reaction to the interruption of my sleep or the intrusion into my sleep is like an indicator of how I am being.
I love that.
That's great.
You mean if it's day and night when you're well in yourself, it's just sound?
Yes.
The first thing I thought when you said you live near the train station was get earplugs.
Noise canceling headset.
Yes, yes. And I don't like earplugs too much because then I hear the boom, 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 boom of my own heart.
Well, you're alive if you can hear your heartbeat.
Yes, yes. But I find that when I am pre-upset or taking something I've probably resisted with myself to bed, then the noise or the sounds that come from that construction work are irritating, and I start to have a pity party with myself for living near the station, which is actually a great thing.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's some of our listeners who are now getting irritated with you because if they listen to what you have to say, the inconvenient truth may be that they're irritable because they're already irritated. You're actually calling one on yourself. And I wouldn't want to listen to you if I wanted to be sure it was my husband's or my wife snoring, or if it was really that my kids were irritating.
I really love my wife's snoring. She snores so sweetly. You know, you can
It's like
upset
purring.
yourself. Yeah, you can upset yourself with anything.
You were when you were talking about being near the train station, I flashed on the very first course we did in
Hamburg,
Germany. The very, very first European course we did was in Amsterdam, and then we moved into Hamburg,
And so there was this, it was on a Saturday,
and it was in Altena, and it was in this really beautiful place. And he had checked it, the fellow who put it together for us had checked it out during the winter, and he went in and he's like, this room is gorgeous.
But the windows were all closed because it was winter.
And when we came, it was very, very warm. So we threw up in all the windows.
And there was a train line right next to the building.
And we were on the second floor, and it ran right by the window. It was very, very loud. So at the very beginning of the seminar, people were so irritated. It's like, wait a minute, you're interrupting us. We're going somewhere. And then it became like an excuse to be able to pause, relax, just like take a breath. And then when it went through, we just picked up whatever we were speaking about seamlessly. It was really, really fun.
It was very zen, you know. It was like we just stopped the action. When the train was gone, we pick it up again.
You know, I like what you had to say about if you resist something, you bring it to bed with you and you wake up during the night, apparently due to the loud construction. And, you know, that's still running in your head. I think that's really true for a lot of people, that sometimes their days plague them at night. And really it's that you've pushed against, not wanted, don't like something, which is a component of ignoring anything, where you're pushing away, you don't like, you don't want, you don't accept. It's like, no, this shouldn't be. And
well, you know, it's there are 3 principles to instantaneous transformation, and this program is about that, really. Because if you include well, let's say you ignore something,
that's the first principle in disguise, sort of.
Yeah, first principle is anything you don't like, don't want, wish were different,
push away.
In any way, it persists, it grows stronger, it occupies your thoughts.
It dominates your experience of life.
Exactly. Third principle is anything you include, allow to be exactly what is, completes itself in the seeing of it. Your resistance to it keeps it being a problem. You're including it, allows it to complete itself.
Their second principle, life shows up as it does. It's Tuesday, it's Wednesday, construction. Life shows up as it does. And then you got some choices there. And sometimes you automatically have the, oh no, but what you do with it after the automaticity of your mind that rejects anything it considers inconvenient is totally up to you. Yeah, I love that you've been discovering the mastery of being yourself, even including something.
The trains.
Yeah, and it's such a gift, you know, because then I find myself in bed and with thoughts like, I'm so grateful for the people who stay up all night, work in artificial light, have to cope with all this noise as well, and take care of me, taking it for granted that I can go to the train station and go to the train on a train which runs on tracks that run smooth. So it's so, and then on this grateful note, I normally fall asleep. So it's yeah, it's and I'm, now that I think of it, I'm so grateful that I met you.
Well, thank you. We're
Yeah.
grateful that we met you too.
Yeah,
You are
it's,
such a gift.
thank you.
Mm,
Thank you.
You're welcome.
really. And thank you so much for making this so easy for us, because you basically, not even basically, you very clearly outlined the difference between include and ignore, and our work is done for us. Well done.
Yes.
Thank you. I've learned from the best, you know.
Nina, you're great.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.
It's that time.
The time for what?
Our listener feedback spotlight.
What is that?
Well, I'm so proud of the people who listen to this show. And now we get to hear from one or more of them about what's happening in their lives with transformation by listening to this podcast, and
what they've discovered about life, what they've discovered about their lives, that they are experiencing fun in their lives.
and that they want to share it with you.
Yeah.
This is Eric in Brooklyn, and attending Ariel and Shya Kane's seminars on instantaneous transformation support me in living my life more fully. I'm able to get out of my way and actually do the things I want to do. It makes me better at my job, in my relationship, and just living with myself.
Do you want to have well-being with consistency? Connect with people all over the world from the comfort of your own home at Ariel and Shya's lively interactive Living Made Easy virtual seminars. Join any of their 2-hour online events or take a deep dive into the magic of being you at a virtual weekend seminar. Come on, let's connect. Find out more and register at transformationmadeeasy.com.
We have some Living Made Easy 2-hour seminars coming up, including a live one in person in Hamburg, Germany, a week from Monday. Next week, we're going to be in Hamburg.
That's right.
For the Freedom to Breathe on Thursday, the 22nd, and the Superpower of Being You over the weekend, followed by a Living Made Easy live seminar also in Hamburg.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I'm very excited we're going. It always is so rejuvenating to actually get to pee, not pee, well, that too, I like to pee, but be with, what can I say? Be with people like Anina
Yes.
and our next guest,
Yes.
Daniela. As you're coming in, Daniela, let me also tell you, we're doing the Creativity and Intuition course live in New York City toward the end of July, the 25th, 26th, and 27th.
Yeah,
So
we haven't done a live seminar in New York City
since
in 5 years.
March 2020. And you know, it was really wild. We had gotten the information about the potential of COVID, although nobody really knew what it was yet. It was a possibility. So we made people Purell their hands, not touch,
yes.
stand separate from each other, because that was the best we knew to do.
And we still had 2 or 3 people
Who had COVID
ended up getting COVID
in that course, but did not give it to each other.
right.
That was the beginning of our virtual seminars. I'm very grateful for them, but I'm also grateful we're back in person these days.
Yeah,
too.
I like in-person seminars, but virtual ones work.
Like this, here we are. We were with a quote radio station, internet radio station. It's so much more fun to be able to have our podcasts produced by folks in our community. Shout out to Dave, who's our producer today. Welcome, Daniela. Tell people where you're zooming in from.
Hi, I'm Daniela, and I'm zooming in from Euskirchen, which is in Germany, close to Cologne.
Awesome.
Auskirchen.
We're so excited that we get to see you in person so
In
soon.
Hamburg, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
You know, it's really nice. Also, you invited your friend last time. She's coming again. I don't think you knew each other really well. Did you know her well before you invited her?
Not at all. I met her last year, a year ago, more or less. And last year in October, she came with me to the Hamburg course in October.
I
Yeah.
bet you even thought to include her and that she looked, and you have to listen to this now, and she thought, I want to be more like Daniela. Yeah.
Think so too.
The part you have to listen to is she wants to be like you.
I mean, people had no clue when they come who we are, what they're going to meet, but they have a taste of something through you. And I just really admire you for sharing the wealth.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Actually, by sharing it, you get wealthier. You create a possibility for somebody else to discover their own brilliance. And so it expands the base of people who are being themselves rather than trying to conform in a world where conforming does not fulfill your well-being.
And I think so many of us start out living over top of layered upsets. And then there becomes like a falling away of those so that there's more of a hum of well-being with the occasional upset as opposed to one upset goes away and it uncovers the next one.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Well, if you're blaming the circumstances of your life for why you're upset, if you're blaming that, then you'll be upset forever because the circumstances don't cause the upsets. The circumstances may trigger an ongoing upset, but they don't cause them. And when you cease to be upset, your circumstances may potentially be disturbing, but you don't have to get upset about it.
Or if you do, you're recoverable.
Mm.
So I know you signed up for this particular episode.
Conversation.
Is there something in particular you wanted to share or ask or talk about?
Yes. And I also want to say something to what you guys just said, that I found myself lately a lot upset. And I know it in a way then, but when I'm in the upset, I also tend to blame it on others. And for me, it's difficult to integrate, to say, oh, it's me. But now when I'm talking to you, it's like, oh, of course.
Yes, it's always easy when you're in the presence of people who've mastered something to be good at it. But then the interesting thing about this thing called living in the moment or transformation is that you get it and you can lose it. And then you get it again. So it's about discovering how to get it. And when you lose it, how to let go of the upset, which took you out of the moment, and bring yourself back to current time.
And also to be kind to yourself for losing it. I mean, here you are on a podcast freely admitting that you've been upset recently. And what a gift to other people. They think they alone get very upset. They think there's something wrong with them. Your willingness to to verbalize that is part of the superpower of being Daniela. You know, and I flashed on a image when you said being around people who've mastered something. I remember in the early days of spay casting, fishing with a long two-handled fly rod.
Mhm.
I had the idea I had to, get it out there. And the more force I used, the faster I went, the more I would be messed up. What was really interesting, there were certain guides, I can't say it's true with everybody, but all the guides who work with this on rivers have mastered for themselves the art of spay fishing,
Casting.
spay casting, spay fishing. And when they are well in themselves, it used to be they would walk behind me or near me, and my cast would get great. And they'd walk away and it would fall apart again. And then they'd come back and it would be great. And what I've discovered is I can now hold it for myself. It's just a natural thing now. But part of it was to get interested in the puzzle of it rather than be frustrated with myself for why, for that it fell apart. And now I am really good.
She is.
Really good.
But when you stop judging yourself and allow your life to flow, it will.
We did a Living Made Easy seminar a couple of nights ago, and we were talking with someone, Daniela, about how the things that you're doing in your life are like the bricks that your life are made of, and the upsets is the mortar between the bricks. Where sometimes if you have a project to do next and you don't know how to do it, even if you know it's time to plan a vacation and you don't know where you want to go, you fill in with upset to save yourself from the unknown. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's,
it is.
Might find a new mortar.
But as you're saying this, so Daniela, we live in the country. And so we have this really big bird feeder.
How tall is that thing?
It's about, the post that's on is about 8 feet high. So it's really big and it slides up and down this post. So you just pull it down to fill it up with feed and you push it up and it stays there and the birds come and it holds maybe 20 pounds of feed. Okay. And I built an electric fence around it to keep the bears out because we live in the country and there are bears here.
And they
have destroyed that bird feeder several times and I've had to rebuild it.
Okay.
Day before yesterday, I woke up and I looked out the kitchen window and there was something odd.
Like, why is this looking weird?
There was something on the ground there. I didn't know what it was. So I went outside and looked and it was a bird feeder. A bear had come and broken through the electric fence and knocked down the bird feeder and broke it. And eventually, I believe it got shocked sufficiently that it left because it only ate some of the bird feed. Well, anyway, now I have to rebuild this whole thing. And as we're sitting here, a solution came to me about how to fix a large part of the roof of this bird feeder. I wasn't thinking about it. It came as an image.
You're fully engaged. Your natural knowing allows things to flow to the surface. But when you take your hands off the wheel of your life, trying to figure it out, all you get upset, you slow down, you sit in the same place and go, why aren't I moving?
Yeah, it's true.
It was very interesting. And I think that solution that I saw in my mind's eye
will be a good one.
Yeah. Cool. No, it all reminds me of my situation. I mean, I'm well, first of all, I get money in my bank account, and at the same time, I'm searching for a new job within my company. I have a position there at the moment, but it's not 100%. It's yeah. I outgrew it. I mean, I'm overpaid for this position because my last position was closed because of a reorganization. And so I have the impression that the time has come to move on. And also I have the impression that my boss is signaling me like, you have been here for 20 years in this department, go and make some more experience somewhere else in a different department. And he supports me and helps me. And yeah, on the one hand side, I could relax and say, oh, everything is fine. I can talk to people. Where is my work help, my support needed? There is no rush. Everything fine. HR is on board. Everybody's on board. And at the same time, it makes me crazy.
No,
No.
it doesn't make you crazy.
Okay.
It make you crazy and blame it on the circumstance.
Yeah.
Look, I have this bird feeder to fix. It's not going to get done today.
And I'm finishing up a book project. It's not going to get done today.
There are certain things that aren't going to get done today. Doesn't matter. I make it to the river though, because it's a beautiful day here. So the river is only 15 minutes away, and it might be fun.
I wouldn't be.
It's okay to have fun in your life, Daniela.
But I have a feeling you're doing something at work that's not supporting you. Tell me if my impression is accurate. The job you're doing, you're overpaid for, and you're really clear that you're not going to be in that particular position within your company long term.
Yes.
Are you coasting? Are you investing it in
or
it?
are you working in it with 100% Daniela showing up?
No, I'm not.
Well, if you were, you'd be very satisfied, and what comes next will show up very quickly.
Shya wasn't holding back a piece of himself, trying to figure out how to finish this project. In your case, the project is what will the next position be? So he's not holding back with you so that he has a little piece of himself to devote to the thing he considers, quote, more important. What's ever in front of him is 100% important. And then what happened is what floats to the surface is this new possibility. There's the possibility, Daniela, that you could look at this job that you're doing. You could create innovations for it that will be supportive of your company and that team. For sure, you could be the best possible support structure to your boss. You will be happy. The job will be done. You'll go home. You'll be happy with your boyfriend, with your daughter. Everything will with your mother. Everything. Things will be crystalline, wonderful. And then you don't know, somebody may come looking for you from another department, or you may suddenly go, wow, I never considered department X. I could do something there, but it's only going to come
from your 100% engagement in what you're up to. Not having a side conversation what you could or should be doing. In the job you're currently in. And who knows, you might make a real contribution to the department you're in now by discovering new possibilities for them.
Yeah, makes sense.
The course we're doing the freedom to breathe, which is the freedom to fully take a breath and fully be there in that breath, and the superpower of being you. It's not the superpower of being you at 80%.
Yeah.
And I know you, and I know a lot of the people who listen are really bright people, well-meaning people who are curious about possibility. And you're smart enough that you can get away with only being partially invested and still produce results.
Mm-hmm.
But the person that then feels cheated is you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. That's a very good summary.
Well, we
Yeah.
try our best.
Yeah.
Actually, we don't. We don't try.
Yeah.
You know, I remember when we very first met you in New York City. We were doing a course. You flew in from Hamburg already, quite like, wow, we met you for the first time. It's like, hi, nice to meet you. We didn't do a lot of virtual things back then. It wasn't, the technology hadn't progressed. You came, you did the weekend, you came up to us afterwards and said, well, you know, I didn't like this. So I was going to come on Monday night, but I'm not going to see you again.
We said, well, look, enjoy your day
We're
in New
like,
York
fine,
City.
well, enjoy being, and you came the next night and you're like, my life is transformed. I'm different. I loved you no more when you showed up on Monday night than I did when you came up on Sunday and said your truth.
Hmm.
There's something so powerful about you and honest about you.
Brilliant about you when you're being you. People can't
Yes,
head nod.
They can't see you now.
that's true. You touched a point that, yeah.
But you
Sure.
know, you judge when you get kind of in a mood and a snit and you get bratty, and then you try and ignore that part of you because you don't think that's the good part of you. But it's the whole full Daniela that's
And
the
Ariel's
miracle
and Ariel's not giving you permission
to be bratty.
to be bratty. She's saying that that's part of your nature, but you also have the ability to override that mechanical nature. You see, that's mechanical. That's like a machine. It can't help it. You know, something goes wrong and immediately you get upset. But then you have this other possibility where you don't have to engage in the upset. You can include it, allow it to dissolve in an instant.
You know, sometimes Shia will say to me in the same kind of voice he just spoke to you right now, he'll say, wow, you know, something's up. I am so grumpy right now. He's not going, I'm grumpy. He doesn't aim the grumpy at me. It's like he's including it like, wow. And we'll go, okay. I'll say, okay, so what happened, or what's running through your head, or what's the grumpy about, or how's it appearing? We can put it on a plate in front of us like a delicacy
And look at it.
Look at it.
Entertainment.
Similarly, I said, I want to talk to you about a conversation I have with somebody on the phone that I found disturbing. I was talking about this on the last week's episode, I think. It was like, it was so good to be able to have the reaction and then look at it like it was a beautiful flower. Look, there's a new flower in the garden. Come take a look. As opposed to judge it, ignore it, push it away, try to get past it, which only makes it more.
Yeah.
Makes it more dominating in your life.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You can invite your friends to listen to this podcast or join you at a seminar or come yourself. Everything we have to offer is available to you.
I think there's somebody out there who's been listening to our podcast for a very long time. And I'm telling you, it's okay to join us in a seminar. And
you don't have to just do a 2-hour seminar, although there's no just about it because they are magnificent.
And life-altering.
If there's a weekend coming up you want to come to, or the Freedom to Breathe Day, you're welcome to give it to yourself.
You are invited. How's that?
There you go. You can take a page out of Daniela's book and just go for it.
But it's up to you.
Yep.
See?
Next week's episode is simply called Release.
Ooh.
We'll
That
be,
sounds
yeah,
sexy.
you have to come back to find out what that's all about. So we'll
So
be
do
back.
I.
Yeah, me too. I'll have to look and see what the description was, because it escapes me now. We'll be back next week.
So come on back.
And don't miss being here.